it's Amy, and I'm popping on to share with you this little coffee sleeve journal that I made. I'm actually going to be teaching this class in April in my area. So if you are local to the Dayton, Ohio area, let me know. You can leave a comment or you can send me a message, and I'll send you a link to our group. And I would love to have you join us. And we have lots of fun. We meet up monthly. And so far, we have made many different projects and learned how to use different tools that are very popular in the journaling community. And we also just come together and share what we've made, our ideas and creativity. And then we also share supplies. So it's a really great group of participants. And so I would love to have you join us. But let me explain to you what we're doing and what I've made. I guess I should say, back it up. What had happened was one of the ladies came in, and when I was telling you about sharing, she brought in a package of these coffee sleeves and said, I'm not sure what you could do with this. And I kind of had an idea right off the bat. Hey, let's make a little mini album. These would be great to make into little mini albums or journals. So she gave me that package, and I didn't have quite enough to make 20, which is what I like to have for the class because we usually have around that many. And another really sweet person donated some more sleeves. And so that's the reason why you see two different kinds right here on these. I also used my cinch, or not cinch, excuse me, my Bind It All, which is a Zutter product, to keep them or to bind them together, which is fun. I like doing these wires. I haven't used that in a while either. So yeah, let's get into it. I'll show you what it is. They are 3 coffee sleeves and then 2 shipping tags. And these shipping tags are like real substantial, nice and thick, to make it so it's 5 pages total. And then I did add the original strings here that came with those shipping tags onto mine. But I like to create an example for everybody to kind of just get an idea so they're not working like quote unquote with a blank canvas. So yeah, for this little album, again, I used my Zutter to bind it together. And I used vintage, obviously. I've used vintage papers and a lot of different vintage ephemera in here, but I have used some newer ones, like I've got some Tim Holtz. So let's go through it. So for the cover, I used some calculus paper to cover it. And then I made this cluster here, which has got lots of fabric and lace and some muslin, and it was stitched on. I kind of got the inspiration for this to be an art journal because I was at the thrift store and I found this stamp, Follow Your Art, and it's by Stampendous. And I really like this. I picked this up, and then I happened to see, I think I looked at it in another area, and I found this one, and it says life is art, paint your dreams, sing your songs, enjoy the dance. And I love that. And it's also by Stampendous. So when I started this album, I thought I'm going to use these stamps for it. And I just thought it just all kind of flowed together. So anyhow, I stamped that on the cover for the kind of like the title, if you will. And then on the inside here, I've made a little pocket, and I've used some twine and brads and little circles, kind of like to make a little policy like envelope type closure. And then I tucked in there this little tag, and this is from a Tim Holtz stamp. It's really from, or if it's not Tim Holtz, then I apologize. It could be either, it's not Rusty Bucket, Seven Gypsies. Maybe it was Seven Gypsies. I can't remember. It's very old, and I don't have the packaging for it anymore. To Stamp Inspire on there, this is just a ruffle paper, pattern ruffle. This is some stenoscript paper from a book. Decorative paper here. I stamped this little label with the word artist in the middle and a piece of lace. And I am going to teach how to make this little policy closure using circle punches, twine, and a couple brads. And everything's optional. Like, even if I'm teaching it, doesn't mean you have to do it. I guess I just want to emphasize everybody brings their own papers and so forth. I'm going to be supplying the space, and then they can take it from there and decide what they want to do. This is all just to give them an idea of what could possibly be done. And that's the greatest thing of it all, is nobody's the same. They all come out, they're all different and unique, and it's just fabulous. I love to see the creativity that comes forth and sharing that at the end of our classes. So on this page, this is This is from a scrapbook album, and it's kind of like construction paper, but it's thicker, way thicker, and it's just real nice, but it tears nicely. And then on top of that is just this piece of mesh, and this is a ticket stub that I tore down and distressed. Another label with I stamped 6604 on it. Here's a button that I sewed on, and this is a Tim Holtz piece of ephemera here. On the next page, this is a piece of vintage Monopoly money, $10. And then this is a little piece of mulberry paper. And then on top of that is a piece of fabric that I stitched an X on, and then I put a brad through. On this page is vintage sheet music. And then this is a piece of upholstery fabric and a piece of black lace. And then another one, a little Tim Holtz piece of ephemera there. I love these little people that he has. And then this is Tim Holtz as well. It was one piece. I cut it down after the creativity to make it fit on the page and distressed it. Oh, and I did add this little piece of lace on the edge here. On this page, I made it into kind of like a hidden journaling spot. And what I did was I took this stamp and I stamped that on a piece of paper, Paint Your Dreams, and then tore it out and distressed it. Oh, this is all covered, sorry, in some botanical paper from a vintage book. And then I have a piece of lace here. And then this is some sorry polka dotted silk. Then there's that sentiment that I attached. And then I used a piece of Velcro to secure this shut. And inside is some coffee dyed manuscript paper for like journaling areas. And then over here, I created kind of like this little frame or a little spot where you could add a picture, draw a picture, whatever you wish. And there's a little label. And it's just a little clear Velcro piece holding it down. And then on this page, it's some decorative paper. And then this is a Tim Holtz piece of acetate. It's like butterfly wings. And that is a vintage bingo marker right here, the I-22, or not marker, but call. What do you call it? Call? Well, you know what I'm saying. I-22, I'm sorry. And then this is a paper ruffle that I made from an encyclopedia page. And then on this next page, I took a doily and I folded it up and added this little blue ticking stripe at the bottom just to like make it more secure because doilies are so delicate for the pocket. And then this is where that stamp comes in again. I stamped this out, I cut it out, distressed it, and then I punched this little heart here. So it's just become a little pocket. And then I made this little cluster here with some ephemera, some lace, and I think that is a Tim Holtz piece of ephemera as well. And then on the last page, I covered it in ledger paper and distressed it. This is a piece of ephemera. And then I die cut this little oval, and this oval is decorative paper and some book page. This is a little piece of lace on top. Another one, a little Tim Holtz. I had one of those little people label, and then I stamped 336 in red on it. And then I made this a tuck spot, and I made this like little index card. And I added, this is a Tim Holtz Artful sticker. It's from I think it's the Tiny Chat or Tiny. Oh, my memory is horrible. I apologize. But it is a Tim Holtz sticker, and it's distressed all around that. And that just tucks right in there. And then on the back, ledger paper distressed, and then I put my stamp with my name on it. And so, yeah, that's the little journal that we are going to be making in April. So if you are local to the Dayton area and you would like to join us and make some fun things, please send me a message or leave a comment. I will send you the link and would love to have you join us. So thanks for watching. Take care and hope to see you soon. Bye.